And we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to another session of Living World of Darkness, New York by Night, Camarilla Venue. Tonight's session is set in Ghost's Biker Bar in Harlem, and it's all the characters have been invited there by Ghost personally, whether it's for a social call in the case of Celio and Isabel, or to discuss clan matters in the case of Rose and Limey. It's not normally this dead inside the bar, but you can tell it's been purposefully emptied for this evening's. Not completely, but it's a little bit more sober than usual. There are a few dancers on the various tables and poles, and a couple of barmaids with trays of drinks, and a spattering of bikers in the green and black colours of the Archfiends. It's quite dingy. It's not. It's certainly nowhere near as upmarket as Limey's Place. It's very spit and sawdust, basic, all American biker bar. No one will be given too much of a odd look when they go in. Not even those rover biking horn. And sort of Ghost isn't anywhere to be seen at the moment when you go in. And she normally stands out, so you know she's there. Feel free to enter as you will.
Okay, Limey will pull up in a cab outside, New York yellow cab, and he knows where he's going, so he sort of opens the door and steps out, walks in past the bouncer without too much thought, because he's been here before. The bouncer recognises him most likely, so he just gives him a nod as he walks in, and he walks into the bar and notices the sort of slightly more sober atmosphere. There's not as many people around, and he looks around for Ghost. And I assume she's nowhere to be seen unless you want me to make a perception roll.
She's not there.
You can make a perception roll. I am here. For a second, I need to go and find a lighter.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said she wasn't there. I do apologise.
She's there, but you're gonna have to make a perception roll too.
Okay, cool. Well, Larry has very basic perception, so let's hope this works out. Otherwise, he's just going to be wandering around a bit lost. So we're just waiting for dice stream to load. Oh no, got a 10, but the one cancelled it out. I've got a 5 and a 4, so unless it's less than average difficulty.
No, it's average difficulty. You don't notice her right now.
Okay, in that case, Limey will walk over to the bar and order a whiskey, and then just sit himself down, right on the edge of the bar, sort of in the corner, where he's not going to stick out too much. And he just sort of slouches into the chair and stares into the whiskey.
You recognise a couple of Ghost's closer compatriots.
Oh yeah.
He'll give you a nod.
I'm going to walk over to one of them.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, the guy sort of tips his glass at you. Right, Limey?
I kind of raises a glass to him and gives him a thin-lipped smile. I'm looking for your boss. Is she around?
Yeah, I think she's upstairs.
Upstairs. Right. Thanks. Sort of step away and go to walk up the stairs.
The guy at the door knows who you are, and so he lets you through. Obviously. And the stairs lead up to what was before a small apartment, but now seems to be like a private, in quote quote unquote private lap dancing room, but there's also sort of a meeting room with
Okay.
one side, one of those mirrors that you can see out of that people can't see in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a window, and Ghost is sat down on one of the sofas, and there's a girl sat next to her who's just finished up snorting a line of coke. Rather glamorously. And Ghost sees you walk in and looks at the girl and goes, get out with you. And the girl stands up and scurries out, clatter of high heels on the ground. And Ghost leans back, spreading her arms in the chair, and lights a cigarette. Says, "Blimey, what can I do for you?"
He kind of glances at the girl as she walks out, and then sort of walks a little bit closer to Ghost. Nothing really. I just thought I'd swing by. Bit of a social call, and I thought I'd bring you up to speed on the latest. Like,
Yeah, I've been actually hoping to catch hold of you and Rose to have a little bit of a chinwag. And
well,
I need you for something else as well, but we can talk. Wait. Long story short, there's some Russian mafia in the area, and I don't think there should be any Russian mafia in the area, do you?
not unless they're under the thumb, no.
They have some nice looking guns and some nice looking women. I propose that we steal both.
Liberate their assets. I like it.
Well, exactly. We can talk about this more later, though.
Good idea.
Uh,
You expecting any more guests? Because I couldn't see you on the way in.
Maybe a little bit later. She goes over to a cabinet and there's bottles. There's a couple of very small bottles, not big ones. With names written on them. He takes one out. Sometimes I wish I was a Ventry, but there's no accounting for taste. And she drinks from one that says crystal.
What's in the bottles?
Strip of blood.
Drip of blood.
Yeah, help yourself if you want one. It's not exactly, I don't know, your fancy wine, but just a job.
Right. He pours himself and takes a seat. I'm down for Facebook.
At that point, you can, if you would look downstairs, I don't know if you can, but into the club, there's a tall person walking in, still wearing a biker helmet. Other than that, she actually wears a leather outfit to match the helmets. She just looks around, see if she can recognize anyone. Let me go to that perception check as well. Why the fuck not? I don't have the character sheet up, shit. I know it by heart. I have one success.
You overhear one of the bikers say to the girl that's coming down the stairs. He says, "Oh, is the boss done with you? Or is she still upstairs with the other bloke?" And she says, "Oh, she's talking to this guy. I don't know. I'm gonna go back to work." She sort of scurries off, looking a bit sluggish, but at the same time up, because she's just still on cocaine. but also taking damage.
Rose is she's walking over to the same girl and she says, "Your boss, would she go by the name of Ghost?
Yeah, that's it.
Could you bring me to her?"
She looks sort of impatient, but she doesn't really knows better than to argue with you. And she tilts her head and walks back in the direction of the stairs.
Rose will follow.
You follow her upstairs, and she takes you into the same room that's overlooking the club, and Ghost and Lime are sat in there drinking.
Good evening, Ghost, Limey.
Rose,
Rose, nice to see you.
Yes, I'm happy to see the two of you as well.
How are you?
Ghost looking quite fed up with seeing the girl's face. And she shoos her off. And mutters something about needing to get a decent poo.
Mm,
And be right back, guys. Talk about
nope.
Ghost takes a phone call.
Rose just turns to Limey. She says, "Well, after last night, not entirely myself yet, but don't worry, I'll be fine soon."
He kind of like leans back in the chair a little bit and sort of folds his arms. Yeah, I know that feeling. But the vision's taking their toll, are they?
Hmm. They are. I hate to admit it, but getting murdered again and again and again is not the most pleasant experience.
Well, you can always knock it on the head. I'm sure there are other ways of getting the information we need. Other seers.
Hmm.
Gotta look out for yourself, gotta look out for number one, nobody else is gonna.
I guess that's true. And you are right, there are more seers, especially among the clan of Malkav, but I see these things not because I get visions, but because of what I am, because of what I can do. I know that those who use the second sight can see the auras, can do a similar thing, but I'm not quite sure if it's exactly the same as I've not experienced that for myself. So I'm quite sure that Mr. Peck would have been able to help, but since he's still missing, at this point I'm starting to doubt whether he would.
Come back.
Yeah.
I'd rather resign myself to the fact that Mr. Peck is not going to be revisiting our city anytime soon, if he'll indeed ever left. Dreadful shame, but life goes on.
I'm sure he's dead.
So how have you been doing after last night? You seem pretty shaken up as well.
He tenses. I'm fine.
See the owner's back, and you can carry on when you have to. What's been going on, guys? Everyone's got their cages ready.
A lot of things have been going on recently. Another body turned up, as I'm sure you've heard.
I'm getting a bit bored with this Jack the Ripper bullshit.
Lisa, your microphone isn't very loud. I can't hear you very well.
Any better?
Yeah, a little bit better.
Did you hear what I said just now?
Oh, no, I didn't. No.
She said I'm getting bored with this Jack the Ripper bullshit.
It is becoming something of a strain. I'm sure we're going to catch her soon. We have a lot of promising information.
Just hope it's enough.
Yeah, I'm hoping we'll sort this mess out.
Did you get any further on that Debussy clue, Blimey?
Still waiting to hear back, but I should have the information soon. The streets don't stay quiet for long when you know the right people. Sorry.
And another car will pull up to the club.
Oh, cool. I was about to message you guys.
Alright. The black sedan pulls up and finds a place to park. And Celio gets out of the driver's seat and closes it. Probably can't see from the inside, but the windows are tinted.
Mm-hmm.
He opened the door to let Isabel out.
Isabel will shuffle out of the car, kind of almost trip on her way out, probably, because well, it's her. And she'll look around. Is this the right place?
I was following your directions. With that, he'll close the door and hit the button on the keychain to lock it.
There's a few guys that have got bikes parked up that get sort of give you a look as you stand around outside.
Couldn't quite hear that.
Yeah, I have no idea what you just said. Oh, I can turn your volume up individually, apparently. Alright, Lisa, try talking. Alright.
Okay, so you were standing in front of the door? Let me just take over, I'll wing something.
Good idea.
There are a few bouncers standing there, checking you up and down. Have you been here before in this bar?
No.
No? So one of them is checking Isabel out. Nods, kind of approving. So what's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this, huh?
She just kind of...
At that, Celio, who's kind of nicely dressed, white button-up shirt, black vest, black slacks. He puts one arm around her and says, "She's with me."
For a moment, the bouncer's just like, you can see that he's like trying to taste what kind of material you're made of. So he's like, will I try and take this guy on? I'd better not. And he's like, I see. So let me just give you a quick check. And he's actually like he's pointing his or he's kind of pushing his colleague towards Celio to check him for weapons while he's walking up to Isabel.
Okay, cool. The colleague walks over. He doesn't look like your traditional inner city bouncer. He's a big, burly, kind of biker-looking guy. You know, cut-off vest, gang symbol, tattoos up his arms. Sort of about 40 years old. You know, little beard going on. Big guy, big guy. He sort of gives Celio a grin as he walks over to him and he says, "Don't look like the usual types to come around here." The basically sort of goes to move Celio sort of to spread his arms.
And he'll spread his arms and
Yeah.
glance over to. He glances over to Isabel to see, make sure she's alright.
She's getting exactly the same treatment, only slightly more polite, but yeah, she's getting exactly the same treatment because this guy, yeah. It's like,
He's not patting him. He's not done with Celio. Like he's picking on him a little bit because he's not the usual type to walk in here. He's you know, like he looks too Wall Street, you know, for that phrasing. He's going for it. He's properly giving you like a pat down. Like, does he find anything?
Yes, he does. He finds a heavy pistol right in his vest.
As he places it beneath a jacket.
Yeah, it's like it's in a spot where it would be hard to spot unless you were looking for it.
Is it underneath the jacket or is it hidden by clothing or?
It's hidden by his clothing.
As he rests a hand on the butt of the gun, is it a revolver or a?
Automatic.
Nice and automatic. Good shout, good shout. But you feel his hand clench around the butt. As he says, "What possessed you to bring that?"
I never leave home without some sort of protection.
Okay, can you make me a quick? What would that be? To convince someone that's charisma plus expression or empathy?
you could either go for leadership to basically tell the bouncer to, well, show him who's boss. You could go for empathy to be like, hey man, you know what's like these neighborhoods, kind of need protection at all time. You could go for intimidation. Basically, it depends on what you want to do.
Just give me one moment.
Does this mic sound any better now?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
it does.
It must have come out a little bit.
That's better.
Apologies for microphone issues.
Okay.
So.
Aiken,
Hmm?
roll 7 dice.
Alright.
He says he never leaves home without protection. And he kind of looks around with his head and says, "You really blame me?"
There you go. That's terrible.
Oi!
Oh,
That's a fail.
Okay, he as you try and talk your way around it, and you think, I've done this before, I'm the CEO, goddammit, people listen to me all the time, who's this thug? And as you say, hey, I'll never leave home without it, it's a tough neighborhood. You kind of, because it's a botch, and I'm sorry.
No, it's not a botch, it's a fail.
Oh, it's just a fail.
It was
In
just a
that
fail.
case, he takes his hand off the butt of the pistol, but he gives you a shove. He's like, nah, you can leave the pistol at the door or you're not coming in.
That's
And
fine.
in the meanwhile, by the way, his colleague is like inspecting Isabel. So does she have any weapons with her?
No, Isabel would be weapons free. The only thing he'd really find on her is a cell phone and a pen.
At least,
So he is like, especially when he's like hearing the trouble there, and he's like wrapping his arm around you. He's like, "Come on, little thing, I'll show you inside. Let a guy talk." And he's ushering you inside.
this is not going well. I'm very, very sorry. I didn't realise they patted down people at the door.
Oh, we do. We've got a Russian mafia problem, don't forget.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, Isabel, when he's pulling her along a little, she'll look to Celio and kind of like, what do I do? Kind of like shrug, sort of is inched towards the door, but trying to not leave him behind. Celio, you okay over there?
I'll be fine. And he says, just watch where your hands are. And it's hard to tell if he's talking to the bouncer or to the kleptomaniac.
Isabel shoots him a look, but she'll go inside with the guy.
The valet. This is not a valet.
In the meanwhile, as this guy just heard that the automatic gun has been found, he's like talking through a headset. It's like, yeah, you might want to warn the boss because seems to be some problem at the front door. I'm just bringing this lady over for her own protection, but this guy at the front door is yeah, he tried to smuggle a weapon in. Yeah. Well, you say it to her? Yeah, you report it? Fine. Okay. So, miss, you want something to drink?
The funny thing is, if they asked, he would have said, yeah, I have a pistol on me.
Ask. Right. Yeah, it sounds. You said like you leave it at the front door, you're not coming in. But I suppose
And
at that point,
he-
the boss is cool.
He'd already agreed by that point.
Oh, he's agreed, has he?
Yeah.
He takes the gun and he shoves it down the back of his kind of greasy jeans and sort of arranges his vest so it's covering it. And then he steps out of the way, but he gives you the stink eye as you walk in.
About this time, Billy the inept bodyguard comes up the stairs, trips over the top step a little bit, and he goes. And Ghost looks at him and rolls her eyes, and she goes, "What have you done now?" And he's, "Oh, nothing. There's a guy with a gun at the door."
Limey pricked his ears up at hearing there's a guy with a gun at the door.
Because he's Billy the inept bodyguard, and hasn't he decides not to give you the full story. And Ghost stands up and goes, "Oh, for fuck's sake. Excuse me a minute." And she pushes past Billy and goes downstairs into the bar, and Isabel, you can see Ghost coming out with her long hair.
And Isabel will sort of speak up and say, you're Ghost, right? She kind of waves.
Kitten?
Hmm?
As Celio enters the nightclub, gonna spend a little bit of blood to activate presence to. The guy who's giving him the stink eye, he just kind of wants to make the guy a little nervous around him. Like maybe he shouldn't be fucking with this guy right now.
What power are you using?
Presence, and it's seven dice with a difficulty of 7.
What power are you using?
Red gaze?
I was going to say, if you're using Presence 1, that's all. That's a bit different.
Yeah.
Whereas,
It's like everybody is focused on you. Dread gaze is they'll run away screaming.
or if you get more than 5 successes, they'll curl up in a ball and start crying.
Don't have that just yet.
4 successes that are 10.
Vampires too.
You think that was the difficulty, right?
Yeah.
7?
Yeah. Wow.
There you go.
All eyes on you, brother. Unless you're using Dread Gaze, in which case...
Which level of presence are you using?
1. That's presence 1. Always 1.
So lots of people are looking at you right now.
You feel like people will be more receptive to what you have to say when you talk to them.
And he'll pause just before going in. Says to the bouncer, "I will want that back."
Can you give me? I promise last dice roll. Can you give me some intimidation dice?
Certainly. Kitten. It's manipulation and intimidate, right?
Yeah.
Kitten, that would be 7 dice.
Okay, 3 successes. Yeah, that's perfectly enough. You'll sort of with the presence you feel coursing out of you, and with the harshness of your tone as you say, "I'm going to want that back." He kind of shrinks under your gaze a little bit, and he thinks, "Wow, maybe okay, maybe this weird suited guy isn't somebody I want to be fucking with." And he sort of he kind of just nods. Yeah, yeah, sure. And he kind of adjusts the pistol, like sort of touches it nervously as he sort of folds his arms and tries to look tough again.
And then Celia will continue on into the nightclub.
Ghost's watching what's happened. And she's noticed the use of presents, because if you use that power, you know it's being used.
Presence one.
And she watches, and then she sort of smirks a little bit, and then walks over to the bouncer and holds out her hand. And he goes, "What?" And she goes, "Give me the gun." And he hands over the gun. And she looks at how greasy it is after being down the back of his jeans, and wipes it off with her shirt. And then puts it in her own. She's got an empty holster in her motorcycle kit, and she puts it inside her own motorcycle kit, and then walks over to towards Isabel and Celia. And says, "Oh, making an entrance, I suppose."
Something like that.
Well, we're sitting upstairs if you'd like to join us.
Absolutely. And I'll start to follow and kind of tug on Isabel to get her attention.
I'm sorry, I was fighting the dog. Isabel will, she was, I guess, off in sort of a daze thinking about something. And he tugs on her and she goes, "What? Oh, right." And she'll follow Celio up the stairs.
Ghost hangs at the back until you're both on the stairwell, and then shuts the door firmly behind you, and then walks up the stairs till all the vampires are finally together in one room. And she comes in and goes back to the cabinet where the blood is and pours herself another glass.
Ghost, is it
Yeah.
safe to remove my helmet?
It's safe. There's no cameras up there.
Very well. And Rose just grabs the helmet and takes it off, and now revealing the white hair, the blue skin, the big black eyes, like aliens. And she's placing the helmets on top of the table, and kind of fidgets to make her hair, make sure she doesn't have like helmet hair. Well, that's better.
I don't think Isabel's ever seen Rose without something covering her face.
No, last time she wore the veil.
So Isabel's sort of staring a little.
Even though this is the first time Celia has seen this, he's trying to play it off like this is perfectly normal.
Mimey looks at Blondie and he's like, sorry, he looks at Isabel.
Call her Blondie.
Oh!
No, Blondie, it's rude to stare.
She shakes her head. She's like, sorry.
It's
She gives her a
okay.
lopsided grin. Like,
It's quite okay, Isabel. I'm used to it by now. It's there have been worse reactions than a stare.
And so, what were we talking about before?
the spat of murders plaguing our city by any chance?
Oh yeah, that old chestnut.
Why, has something else happened? Isabel chimes in.
Yeah. Oh, expecting me to carry on. Yeah, there was another murder. I don't know how much you know, but there's a kindred on the loose in the city calling herself the Maestro. And it's hard to explain, but she considers herself to be something of an artist.
Like turning people into wind chimes.
Yeah, the wind chime, the harp, the blank canvas, and the latest one. The latest one was something a bit different. And he turns to Ghost because he knows she doesn't know anything about this. And says, you see, the latest killing was only about an alley away from where the last bodies were found. But this time, thanks to Rose's visions and some glove found at the scene of the crime, it looks like this isn't the same killer. Similar style, but less neat, less perfect. This time around, it was it looked, well, we think it's an apprentice. We know that he's jealous of the skills of the maestro and seeks to better his own, so he may emulate her better. Personally, I think they're working in cahoots. And, cahoots is a great word.
Or she's trying to throw us off the scent.
Oh no, definitely the same killer. Tell him, Rose. Sorry, definitely a different killer. Tell him, Rose.
I used aura absorption on, well, some. First time on a bleach bottle, second time on site itself, killing site where the wind chimes were, and on the harp, on the body itself, and finally on the lyre. And with each of these impressions that I got from their auras, I could literally feel how the first three, or if you would count the harp as 2 victims, 4 victims were murdered and were shaped while still being alive. The pain was intense. She shudders as she says that. With the lyre, all I could feel was one stab, and that was it. I think, or I know that the victim was dead before it was shaped, instead of the other victims who were shaped alive.
Fair enough.
And how do we know that it's an apprentice or someone who's learning from this maestro and not a copycat?
Well,
He just looks at Rose again. Tell him, Rose.
the harp was not yet discovered when we found it, so we didn't. Yeah, of course, had to cover him massacre, but it wasn't like we had to use the influence from Miss Sheridan for the media, because no one had found it yet. That's how we actually had. That's why we have the body. The bodies, I should say, as they are 2 persons shaped into one instrument. Since the next victim was a liar, it's kind of assumed that it was a second. Also, when we found the harp, there was another person there who seemed to be more involved than just a random bystander. And finally, there were media messages that Miss Sheridan intercepted before they were getting printed. And one of them implied so much that it wasn't fun without an audience being there. And the other one, after the lyre was found, basically said, I do not like to repeat myself, but a copy is also fine. I don't know exactly the words that were given into both messages, but it's enough evidence to say that at least the one who made the lyre is informed of the situation. So it would either be one of us, since we're investigating, or it would be one of hers.
Mm.
And when I touched the glove, finally, it was a latex one. From my visions, I remember that she didn't wear latex gloves, she wore leather ones, although at some point they appeared to be latex, but that was more because of the blood and gore that stuck, that was like on the gloves itself. But I know for certain that she wore leather gloves, not latex ones. So when I absorbed the aura of the glove itself, I could actually see the face of one of the persons that Limey and myself saw in the church near the place where the killings were happening, and Limey has talked to both of them, and the girl that he spoke to, as far as I believe, well, Limey should tell you this, but she pretty much said that she was the one we were after.
Sorry, what should I be telling who? I do apologise.
About the Rose was telling about the meetings in the church that you had with both the maestro and this Samuel.
Oh. Yeah, she rather openly admitted that she was the maestro. Master of Obfuscate. Yeah. She was she was posing as one of the members of the quintet.
Mm-hmm.
No, she dropped that when she showed me her fangs.
Mm.
And it looks, I mean, I would assume she was in cahoots with Samuel. Well, Samuel, I don't think his name was really Samuel. Posing as the other violinist. They were both late out for the second half, and I believe that's because they were either preparing the body in the alley or setting up the fire that ensued after the gig. Got a little heavy up in there.
Yes, it became quite intense in the end. By the way, Limey, I think I owe you an apology when it comes to that. I wasn't capable of letting you know that I was in the church at that point.
Yeah, it's fine. It's quite alright. I guess in the end it was a good thing you were there, you got a decent look at the place.
Hmm.
But
Yes.
apparently your hiding place was better than mine.
Hmm?
So,
Well, I managed to make my way into from outside into the bell tower, and then glide down. I was basically peeking under the door. I could see the quintet from behind, and I had a clear look at the audience.
Oh well. But yeah, I have a feeling that if we find this slightly less capable sidekick of hers, that we'll find her. And currently, Prince Silas is taking a look at the DNA on the glove we found. I reckon we'll be able to trace him.
Well, just keep me updated if you need anything punched. Otherwise, I think my skills in the matter are somewhat limited.
Ghost, I think your skills are far exceeding punching things. While I'm sure it does enter uh, your set of skills, I think you're probably good for other things as well. You dig?
Oh, a few things.
Well, looks like the three of you have been busy.
Very busy.
A little bit too busy, I might say.
What's she saying?
It almost feels like they've been leaving me out.
Oh, I'm sure that's not true. You knew. Unfortunately, we've been here for a while, so we get labelled with this shit.
Take it as a blessing rather than a curse.
Bloody luck.
Isabel will look to Celio and say, well, it could be me. Could be getting visions of children being washed in blood and screaming. She sort of shivered.
Excuse me?
As Isabel is talking about that, Zelo kind of he reaches into his vest and he pulls out a little flask, unscrews it, takes a little bit of a drink while looking at her, as if what she said was just really crazy. Finishes the drink, screws the cap back on, puts it back in his vest, and is that common amongst Malkavians? Does that
Vision?
mean? Yeah.
She shrugged. Well, both me and Mr. Grayson have them. Some of them have related to the murders.
Wait. So what did you say your most recent one was, Lonnie?
Well, my most recent one, I was out in a desert. This one happened while I was awake. I sort of got lost looking in the mirror, the blacks of my eyes. She points, her iris. And, her pupil, yeah. I was in a desert, and I was wearing all this sort of Middle Eastern, if you will, sort of clothes. And I had these beautiful tattoos on my hands. I mean, everything was really nice up until that point, and I saw this woman with a child. She dragged her over to a well and stripped her and began pouring rancid blood on her while she was screaming. And this child was wearing the same thing I was and had the same markings on her hands. When I came to, I was flooding out the bathroom. Why? Does that relate somehow?
Could be.
If it does, now stumped us for now.
It's the difficulty with these visions is that they don't make sense unless you find the right angle. And the difficulty is finding that angle.
Maybe you should talk about it sometime. Rose is quite adept when it comes to these things.
You're not, Slimy. You give me way too much credit.
Oh, I'm only saying it as it is. Sure, I'm a little bit biased because you're a clan, but let's face it, not many people can tell with the amount of visions you've been having lately, especially with the consonants.
Well, the murder things that I've been doing were more images, not necessarily visions. Visions are quite different. They tell about the future, not the past, and they're often far more cryptic. It's more difficult to look into the future as there are so many possibilities, while the past is already a clear path. You just look back. It's easier.
I suppose so, but discerning them, it's all a very similar process. So, you know. But what do I know? I'm not a seer. I'm just an old guy in a shit suit.
Well, do you like puzzles, Slimy? Do you like riddles?
Depends. I've always found riddles a little bit too much work for me.
But that's how you should see these. They're riddles waiting to be solved.
Hey. What gets wetter as it dries?
A towel.
Give the man a prize. Wall Street did it.
Well, that's a straightforward riddle.
It's the only riddle I know. So.
Dave looks confused by your conversation. She's sort of got bored halfway through and is watching one of the dancers downstairs. And she drifts back. What were you saying? Something about towels?
About what? Oh, towels, yeah.
So how's the city treating you two so far? She looks at Isabel and Julie over the top of her sunglasses.
Not too bad so far. Haven't gotten myself killed yet, she smiles.
Things have been going slow. And they'll be picking up.
You want to let Lady Sheridan? Have you been getting on right with Lady Sheridan?
I haven't really spoke to her much. We met once at her place, and that was about it.
It's not like her. She's always going on about clan Venture and how they need to stick together. You're Primogen, you should have her.
Seeing as her former clanmate fell to Diablo and the Beast, I think she'd be clinging for new clan members right now. Venture have been letting the side down a bit recently, haven't they?
Yeah.
She has been trying her best to restore the good name of the clan, so I guess she's very busy reaching outward instead of looking inward. Both of them need to happen at some point.
Could be that. And either way, it's left me to my own devices and vices.
So what are your ambitions in the city?
First, to get back everything I lost.
What did you lose, boss?
A lot of money.
Well, times are hard. I mean, I ain't exactly a trader, but I keep my eye on the stock market, and there's only one way it's been going lately. Business treating you bad?
Before coming out this way, my sire basically froze all of my assets and sent me here.
Froze all your assets? And why did she do that? She.
And as you ask that question, he pulls out the flask, taps it with one of his fingers. She didn't like an alcoholic on the payroll.
And at that, Isabel will look at him and go, I've been to mental health places before becoming a vampire. You don't just become an alcoholic for no reason. I've been meaning to ask you about that since you brought it up before.
And as you're asking, he unscrews the thing and he takes a little bit of a longer drink before lowering it. Looks at the flask as he slowly screws the cap back on, and then looks back to Isabel as he puts it away. You want to know why I drink?
Well, there has to be some reason.
I survived a mob pit that my family didn't.
Oh,
Heavy, brother, heavy.
Ghost takes out a packet of cocaine from inside her pocket, lines it up on the table, and goes about taking it, even though she knows that the outcome will be completely fruitless for Vampire. And once she's done, and the powder sort of goes nowhere in her dead system, she points to the alcohol and does the same sort of motion with a shrug. Self-medication.
Limey lights a cigarette. He taps the cigarette packet. We all have our vices. But, wherever you get it off, we always know somewhere cheaper.
Aren't we all the sons and daughters of misery? You can tell she's trying her best to be polite, but she finds it hard to have morose conversation.
So, just while we're all sat here chewing the fat, what about you, Blondie? What's your story?
my story. Well, it's not as exciting. I'm just many viewers. Just I used to work corporate lifestyle. She sort of rolled her eyes, but I was never anything big. I worked at tech support. Uh, got myself in a little trouble. Kind of fidgeted. I didn't mean to pick up my boss's credit card. It's just, it was there, and it was in my pocket. I was basically fired and told that if I didn't go get some help, that he would call the police. Wasn't the first time I had picked things up. She sort of glances at her fingernails for a moment and shrugs. When I was in rehab, they assigned me a psychiatrist, and my psychiatrist just happened to be a vampire. Who would know? And that's how I became this. She sort of points at herself.
We're very happy to have you here.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What?
I said, well, no matter how you came to be here, we're very happy to have you. Why New York, though? Why New York?
I don't know. I mean, my sire basically told me there was interesting things happening here and I should check it out. And so I listened. I mean, it was far enough away from where I came from. I'm guessing she just didn't want me to let my family know I was still alive. She shifts a little bit. And worked as good a place as any, I suppose.
Pretty good. Where'd you come from?
Oh, Baltimore. It's down in Maryland, I don't know. Still East Coast. And what about you? She sort of tilts her head.
What about me?
Well, have you always lived in New York? Hmm.
kind of gives her a smile. That's, you know, sort of-
Okay.
but like he looks at her openly, like, do you want to ask anything else? But he's sort of, you know, you're getting that, but he's just not saying anything. But,
He just sort of shrugs and. Hmm. Sorry. Isabel's bad at conversation, just like I am. Just sort of shift a little bit and to be like, right. Oh, other than being a harpy, what else really do you do? She tilted her head.
I listen to you guys. Ambrosia. I run a business that's not really called strictly legal, but you know, that's more of a recent thing. I suppose I was a middleman for a long time. Of what they call in England the gift of the gab, and it attracted certain people who needed a guy like me. And, a long, long time later, here I am.
So I'm guessing you're definitely not as young as me and Celio then.
Oh, I'm not old by some people's standards, but my standards feel old. Well, let me think. I was something. I was 25 in 1959, and that's when I was embraced. So that would mean I'm 76. Oh, I'm 80. When did that happen?
And Isabel sort of giggle a little at that. Who knows?
Oh, I'm sorry. She what?
She'll giggle just a little bit at that.
Yeah. But yeah, before all of this, before I was what I am now, I was one of the faces in Ronnie Scott's. You know Ronnie Scott's, Blondie?
I know what? I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time with my volume.
Can't you hear me?
I can hear you, but like for some reason when I turn the volume up, it's distorting your voice. So maybe I'll
Oh.
turn you down a little.
Would you like me to repeat what I said?
Yes, please.
Sure. So, but before all this, before I became what I am now, I was one of the faces of Ronnie Scott's. You know Ronnie Scott's?
And she'll shake her head no.
No, I wouldn't expect you to. Ronnie Scott's, the most famous jazz bar in, well, in the UK, but in London specifically.
Yeah.
Ghost leans over to where Rose is sat and props her forearm up on Rose's shoulder. And says, so, when did you become an alcoholic? I mean, vampire.
When did I become what I am? That was wrong character sheet. um, Almost 70 years ago.
Oh, don't tell me I'm the oldest in the room again.
Well, if you count your human years, I don't know. You might not be.
Oh, but you look very young.
I wish I knew.
Used to hang around with Jesus and the apostles. She's got a big grin on her face. He's obviously talking bullshit. Just trying to lighten up the situation because everyone looks so fucking morose.
Alright. You're saying that you're the lost apostle? I knew it.
Yeah. They sort of missed my mohawk out of the Last Supper. What the fuckers.
Well, we have to refer to you as a Methuselah then.
Damn straight, whatever you said.
It's
Bloody
interesting to hear all these stories.
No. I make a point of not having any stories. Not any true ones anyway. Better to put the myth.
Hey, as long as you don't give the game away, nothing wrong with telling a good story.
I'm pretty sure your story will be more interesting than mine.
Yeah, sure. Said the 6'5", blue-skinned, black-eyed vampire.
Yes, well, other than that, there is no story.
What clan are you even from?
She's Bruges.
Yes.
He looks at Ghost like,
Ghost for once doesn't seem to be joking.
well, yeah, of course she's Bruja, but like,
But
well, I mean, I'm assuming you didn't look like that before the embrace.
I assume so too.
That pun.
Hmm?
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said I assume so too.
To be continued, Rose. To be continued. Okay?
I'm looking forward to you finding the answer on my riddle.
well, I just think it's important to, she taps a cigarette on the table. Work together and all that. I think we could all do with a bit of a morale boost around here.
Yeah. Yeah, I can get that.
Perhaps a Elysium or some kind of shindig should be arranged.
Well, we have organized meetings before. I'm pretty sure we can do it again.
I think this time organised the biggest meeting that Camarilla has seen in this city for a good few months.
Get our new friend integrated into the joys of court politics.
Yes, politics.
Whoop-de-doo.
If you're into that.
Nope.
Well, neither am I. But without Mr. Peck, we did kind of slow down on our regular meetings.
Yeah.
I think it's important to show whoever this, maestro or whatever she wants to call herself is, that we are a united front and that she can't scatter us.
I think she'll see. I've got a feeling she's been keeping an eye on us.
I don't know. But
Well,
still, even if we do not, even if she doesn't, it would still be a good idea to show that the Camarilla is one front, as we planned to when the Sabbat were more active. They seem to have slowed down a little bit recently, but still, I think we still should keep up appearances, as they say. Show them that we are a front, show them that we are a force to be reckoned with, and that we are united.
I haven't seen hide nor hair of the prince since the Archons were in town.
Hmm.
Like that was a massive help.
Well, maybe I've seen him yesterday and one time before when Frank Green held some kind of a meeting. He will be gone for a few days, I know that much. But maybe we should set up a meeting for all kinds of kindreds to come to. But as I've already spoke to you before, Ghost, I think it's important that we have a gathering of the Primogen and representatives of the clans as
Yeah.
well.
Now that is a very good idea.
So, since the three of us are very capable of apparently organizing and getting groups together, why don't we take it up?
Sounds good.
Celia was just being quiet during all this.
And Isabel will sort of reach over and poke him in the arm. You've been quiet. And she kind of arches a brow. Something on your mind?
They're organizing, or they're planning to organize a get-together with the other kindred, and they have better connections than I do.
Well, what I'd like you both to do is to contact your Primogen and let them know that we're planning on organising a meeting.
I can do that.
It shouldn't be too hard. Rick lives right across the street from me.
Capital.
Well, then we have 3 clans down already.
That just leaves the Nosferatu, the Gangrel.
Toreador, oh wait.
There are no longer any Toreador, and neither are there any Tremere, so
Goose is laughing.
I guess that just leaves the Nosferatu and the Gangrel.
Oh god. I'll just sit at that table that fucking down
And that'll work in my favor. I need to talk to Mr. Green anyway. She'll play with her hair.
here. Mr. Green isn't the Primogen.
No, but he is a gang.
Uh,
Have you met the Gangrel Primogen?
She shook her head.
He is quite nice. I've met him when I just was introduced to the Camarilla. I met him once.
Leo's a top man. Making me a suit, actually. No, Isabel. Oh, sorry, Ghost. Go right ahead.
No, she... Hang on. Carry on, mate.
Yep.
What were you going to say, Liney?
Oh, sorry, I thought you said hang on. Limey laughing. Stop laughing at me, Saskia. Yeah, Limey kind of as she mentions Limey looks at Isabel and says, "Yeah, Blondie, I've been giving your debt some thought.
Oh?
Yeah. You are a major boon because he taught you animalism, which isn't the easiest discipline to come by. Your clan understands the use of obfuscate, do they not?
Yes, it does. She nods.
And can you do?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Can you obfuscate?
Well, yeah, not very well. I mean, as long as I'm in the shadows, I can be unnoticed.
I
Yeah,
think Mr. Green would benefit from, well, from that particular discipline. Perhaps you could offer it to him. Try and show him the ropes.
that was actually what I had in mind. I just need to get a hold of him again. I'm sure he's rather busy with all this stuff going on now.
He is very busy, but hey, boons make our society go round. It's important to get in contact when we can.
And she nods.
Well,
I remember the time when I had to learn obfuscates in order from the prince before I could even go around town. It is a very handy discipline to use.
Very useful though. I always thought I might turn my hand to it.
I prefer the direct approach.
Sometimes the direct approach can get you killed. But I like life, sort of.
Still alive.
Still alive.
Been nothing but direct since the day I was born. I think.
I never quite saw the use of it myself, but now that I am actually outside of the library more often, I found that it is quite useful, especially when you scare people.
I don't think Mr. Green needs more ability to scare people. She smiles a little bit to herself.
Mr. Green can be a rather intimidating man. Aside from Doctor Sensor, I
Softly.
mean Doctor Softly, he kind of glances at Ghost and sort of, um, yeah. Apart from Doctor Softly, Frank Green was the first kindred I met, and he was rather an intimidating chap. But trust me, when you get to know him, he's a sweetheart.
He might be. She sort of shifts a little. I'll see how he acts when he teaches me. She nods.
Be careful,
That lives.
Grady.
Kindreds have on your side. Sheriff, decorated member of his clan, is the sort of man you want to have on your side.
Oh, this I know. That's why I've been bending over backwards anytime he tells me to do something. She nods.
Oh, I remember the
Must be
entire
very
season.
flexible.
Isabel shoots Celia a look and actually will say, "You want to find out?"
God. Keep it in your pants. I just said this room cleaned.
Little joy.
We're in the middle of a strip club. She motions her out.
Yeah.
A very well maintained, very clean strip club.
I
They
like
sort
it.
of dump crap off his shoe.
It actually is quite clean in this room.
In this room.
Oh, the downstairs is a bit sticky.
Yeah. It's a nice place if you go in for this sort of thing.
Definitely.
Hmm.
We're all going to hell anyway, so we might as well have some fun along the way.
It's a little too crowded for my taste, even now. Too noisy.
Well, just know that my doors and my other openings She loses her sense. She was gonna say something quite grand and then completely loses it.
Limey
She
kind
lives.
of.
Go ahead.
Nope, do it.
Still just raises her brow at that.
What my esteemed colleague means to say is that should you ever need her, her doors are open to you.
Yeah, that's right.
Just knock first, you dig?
Yeah. Just not on Wednesdays around midnight.
Hmm.
That's my 2 for 1, and I'm quite busy for that section.
Right.
Oh, Isabel will glance around. Do you happen to have a piece of paper and a pen I could borrow? Well, actually, wait, I have a pen. Do you have any paper? She asks Ghost.
Limey pulls a
Yeah.
notepad out of his pocket, tears a sheet off.
She draws down a something, and she will hand it over to Rose. I emailed you about this. I've been seeing this everywhere. Thought maybe you might understand it better than me.
Rose holds the piece of paper and she studies it. It's kind of a smiley face, right? Out of character.
Kind of like the rest symbol in sheet music.
Ah.
Since we've mentioned the maestro and other musical instruments, I suppose this might be important. I mean, repeat symbol, not rest. I'm sorry.
I'm not directly familiar with this. She shows it to Limey and Ghost.
It's a rest symbol.
No, I think it's actually repeat. Let me show you the picture. Hold on.
Sorry, did you say it was a rest symbol, or am I?
I said I don't know what it is, but I know what it is out of character, but in character, I don't think Isabel would know.
A rest is a little squiggle.
Yeah, I know. I messed up. It's a wait. Where's the? I meant to say a repeat symbol, but I'm going to send you the picture.
In character, Limey will be able to discern it because he's seen a little sheet music in his time, you know.
I can describe the symbol, by the way, off the top of my head. Yay for knowing classical music. It's 2 dots placed below each other and then 2 lines next to each other.
Yeah. That one.
Yeah.
And you say that's a repeat, right?
Yeah, that's a repeat symbol. It means that you repeat a certain sentence in sheet music.
Yes.
But that was all out of character knowledge, by the way.
I was like, oh, I don't think Isabel knows, but.
Ironically, I don't know, but Limey would. He kind of glances at it and he's like, "That's a repeat symbol. Where have you been seeing this?"
Everywhere.
Of course. No, it makes sense.
It
Have you been seeing it lately?
Yes, I've been seeing it quite recently, and everywhere, in cracks in the wall and graffiti.
Even after the lyre was found?
When was that?
2 nights ago, I think.
No, I stopped a few nights ago.
Of course.
What do you think it means?
Very simple. I hate to repeat myself.
Wait. So, and she said that, didn't she? Maestro herself said, "I hate to repeat myself."
Yes. One of the messages that she sent to the press.
I hate to repeat myself. So, what do you think she means to achieve by putting this symbol up everywhere? Just making a point of the fact that she's repeating herself, or?
That a repetition was in order.
So, if we blag these pieces of art before the public get a chance to see them,
She will
then
repeat
she
herself.
repeats herself.
Yes.
So, whenever we clear a body, we need to have the areas watched.
hmm
Alright. Okay. Myself and Ghost have put a little sway over the homeless of the city. We'll make sure whenever we leave a scene, we'll have the place staked out.
Very well, but I hate to say this. I think in order to prevent another killing, we have to make sure that we cover up this after it has been spotted. It means more of a hassle, but it will make sure that there won't be any repeats.
It doesn't sit well with me that we're just going to let these pieces of art be seen by the public.
Just the police is enough. We've been able to cover up everything before it became too big, but apparently she wants mortals to see it before we remove it. But we never, it never got the papers. Even the wind chimes did not go that public, right?
No, I didn't know.
So I guess it would be enough to let it be found by a few more mortals.
We'll have to ask the prince that. That's his decision. The masquerade in his city is his to uphold.
I agree, but the prince is out for a few days, so if anything happens, I would advise to make sure that at least the police sees it. Maybe prevent anyone else from seeing it, but just the police. And we can control mortals. I mean, the liar was a repeat, but we even managed to get the body away before it got noticed, but it did get noticed by humans.
Right.
If anyone would have maybe like even a ghoul whom they can send towards the crime scene, so that would that mean that the maestro would be watching who would find it? Because
Do we have anyone that controls the police?
I've got a couple of contacts.
So does Mr. Dales and Mr. Silas himself, or Prince Silas, I should say.
Well, Mr. Silas just hacks into their computers. He can control the police rather directly.
That's true. But if something happens in the few upcoming days that the prince will be absent, make sure that at least one member of the police sees it, then make sure that they forget, and we make sure to intercept the body before it reaches the police station or the morgue. If the prince does not agree, then I will take full responsibility.
Okay, fine. Fine. I'd say let's run it past Frank too, but I expect Frank will be there, so he'll be able to let you know himself if he agrees or not.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, and he kind of glances at Isabel and Celio, and he's like, in the meantime, if you see anything else like this, you let someone know straight away. Can you dig it?
Of course.
I always try to, you know.
Spot on. Right. Is that everything?
So I've got a few things to do.
You want now?
Got a few things I need to take care of.
As do I.
Man, Celia and I have a cat to see about. She kind of grins to herself.
A cat?
Well, when we went to the apartment, there wasn't really much else that we found. I mean, everything we looked into was a dead end, and there was a cat there that nobody's been taking care of or feeding. And well, I'm staying at the brownstone across from Rick's all by myself. It's a little lonely. She kind of shifts. Besides, it's going to die if somebody doesn't get in there and give it some water.
Fair enough. Just beware that animals don't really like vampires.
I know, that's why I asked Mr. Green to teach me how to communicate. She nods and smiles. I'm sure that'll also come in handy with other things as well.
But the main reason you asked to learn one of the venerated disciplines of the Gangrel is so you could catch a house cat.
Well, when you put it like that... Yes.
I hope it was worth the boon. That Limey kind of stands up and dusts down is kind of once very nice, but now kind of, you know, beaten up, slightly worn, so he pats himself down. Right, I'm gonna make my way. I've got business to attend to this evening. It was a pleasure seeing all of you.
I'll see you all out.
Isabel will stand up and go, oh, here's your pad back. And while she is handing back his pad, I'm going to have her attempt to slip the pen in his pocket.
I only took out a piece of paper, but...
I have a pen that you might remember, with a chain on the end.
I was going to say, go ahead, yeah, roll the... roll. Is that larceny or stealth?
Stealth.
Stealth, yeah.
Stealth? Alright, so what do I roll for... Oh, wait, I don't even have my character sheet up. Oh my god. Oh, hold on.
Stealth. If you don't have any stealth, you can make a check with a +1 difficulty.
Oh no, she
It
has...
will be only dex.
This is Isabel. I expect her to have a lot of stealth.
Oh, it opens quickly. I forgot to have it open. I'm sorry. I didn't expect there to be a lot of rolling in this. And then I thought about it and went, oh, this is an opportunity to do the thing.
I didn't expect there to be a lot of rolling either, but I just moved my character onto my tablet.
I really wish I had done that. Alright, you said stealth and what? Or just stealth?
Dex stealth.
Okay.
I've got a feeling this is going to be a lot.
Oh. Good thing. Oh, well.
Fuck me.
Wow.
I got that
I'm
in your
not-
pocket. Feel good.
That pen goes into your pocket.
I was gonna
Yeah.
You don't see shit.
Right, okay, everyone. Yes, the pen goes into my pocket.
Yeah, that's such a damn good roll.
That's an awesome roll. I'm not even going to roll against it. Like,
Yeah.
it would be ridiculous to try.
I will take my week off for you, but yeah.
Yeah, Limey kind of, as he walks away, it will be about a block that he's walked before he kind of goes into his pocket to pull out a cigarette and then pulls out a pen instead. And he'll sort of like kind of like push the pen back into his pocket and kind of pull a cigarette out, kind of frustrated, and be like, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it back, I'm gonna get it back.
I really like this moment to end the scene.
Yes.